He's a Chechen-Swedish mixed martial artist competing in the welterweight and middleweight divisions of the UFC. Either you know his name or recognize his feared face, since he remains undefeated, winning all of his fights in under 2 rounds. He's a killer with a license to brutalize opponents in the octagon. Now you're about to get an inside peek of the lifestyle and net worth of Khamzat Chimaev. Rocky might have the eye of the tiger, but Chimaev has the heart of the wolf. Khamzat Chimaev's nickname Boars actually translates to the wolf in Chechen. This animal, which is very ferocious and a territorial beast, is the national animal of Chimaev's motherland, Chechnya. To be given this nickname not only indicates the love his nation has for him, it profoundly identifies his rage in the ring. His nickname is surely not just a gimmick. Boars actually has the mentality of a fierce wolf in the octagon. Even his philosophy is parallel to the call of the wild, as he was quoted saying, "When I go into the cage, I want to kill this guy, take his heart. He's going to tap or sleep. Every day I want my gloves on, and on an opponent. Just thinking about this, I get angry." Here's how Boars the Wolf quickly claimed clout. The welterweight Swedish national born in Chechnya made UFC history when he became the fastest fighter in the modern era to reach 3 victories inside the octagon. This shocking accomplishment was just done in 66 days.
Frequently in his UFC fights. What short time here?
Can he get it?
2, and there it is.
Credit also goes to the Swedish fighter Alexander Gustafsson, as he trained Boars. Competing in the light heavyweight and heavyweight divisions in the UFC, Gustafsson became a top contender and fought for the title 3 times. So although he didn't win any UFC championships, he's surely among the elite UFC fighters. With this training, Chimaev has never seen a judge's scorecard in his professional MMA career. And for this, he's also been showered with praise from Dana White himself. Dana White publicly acknowledged Boars for fighting twice in less than 15 days, even though he had only been active in the MM organization since 2020. Proper respect was given to Boars for having the momentum to fight twice with just a 10-day gap between 2 different divisions within the UFC. He shattered records in the US, Scandinavia, and Middle East circuits, including 4 fights with Brave CF. Just in the MMA, 6 fights out of the 9 ended within the opening round. When questioned about the ferocity and potential of Boars just a couple of years ago, his manager Majdi Shamaz commented that his smash everyone, take on everyone, fight every day approach to the sport would be the reason for his success. And here's reinforcements for the words of Shamaz. Here's what Chimaev had to say about it. 9 guys I finish. The day I can't finish somebody, maybe I will start to think I have to be done with this shit. Bottom line, Khamzat Chimaev, Boars, the Chechen wolf, has proven himself to be a hot-headed beast, bloodthirsty to totally incapacitate strays that wander into his territory and his domain in the octagon. Early on, it was truly that intensity that drew Chimaev, who had been managing fighters for more than a decade, to Chimaev's Boars the Wolf. When Chimaev first found the gym, he found it only because he knew Alexander Gustafsson had trained there. At the time, Boars was only 23 years old, with no martial arts training other than his background in wrestling. He was doing odd jobs in a town south of Stockholm, but because Shamaz saw potential in Chimaev, the trainer wanted to keep him close. In an interview, Shamaz recalled the beginning of the event, stating, "I asked him that day, how bad do you want this? And he had something in his eye. Sometimes you can just see that." Shamaz says, "I talked to our head coach, Andreas Michael, and told him, I think you should take a look at this guy. And we told Khamzat, if you're going to do this, you're going to stay in Stockholm." From that day on, we sorted everything out. He stayed in the gym. He didn't go back to his house for 2 years. Now here's his brass and bill. Khamzat Chimaev, Boars the Wolf, is estimated to have a net worth of $300,000. In the entire scheme of economics, that isn't very much. But don't downplay the Wolf. He's only been fighting professionally for the UFC for just over a year. This Fright Night was born in Vino Yurt, Chechnya, Russia, in May of 1994, and he stands 6'2", 170 pound, hell in a cage, who was ranked number 15 welterweight just after 3 fights in the UFC. When one considers that MMA is the only major source of wealth for Boars, he has surely earned a lump sum. Actually, it's quite the fortune. Most of his income is from his record win against Gerald Meerschaert. Remember Gerald Edward Meerschaert III? Fights in the light heavyweight, middleweight, and welterweight divisions? He was nicknamed GM3 the Machine. He battled renowned MMA and UFC fighters, and in 2021, GM3 the Machine was ranked number 45 middleweight champion. Then, the Machine made the mistake of stepping into the octagon with Boris the Wolf. This fight became the talk of the weekend, as Khamzat knocked out Gerald in 17 seconds at UFC Fight Night in Las Vegas. Due to his exceptionalism, Boris was able to comfortably cross the 5-figure paycheck mark with only 3 UFC fights under his belt. In his debut performance against Phillips at UFC Fight Night, Qatar and Age, he took home $73,300. In all of his 3 fights in the UFC, he earned the Performance of the Night bonus with ease, and in case you didn't know, the bonus is $50,000. There is no doubt his net worth will exponentially grow as he continues to step in the octagon. As for how Boris started in the fighting scene, Khamzat began his combat career with wrestling. As a matter of fact, he was considered one of the best freestyle wrestlers in Sweden, being a 2-time gold medalist at the national level. As for his debut in the UFC, Chimaev had only trained in MMA for 3 years prior to his explosive arrival on the UFC scene. His debut was against John Phillips in the middleweight division in mid-July of 2020. He won the fight via submission in the second round, winning the Performance of the Night. His second fight was against Reese McKee at welterweight on July 25th of 2020. He beat McKee via TKO in the very first round, and 10 days later, Chimaev earned 2 wins. His third fight came against Gerald Meerschaert on September 19th, 2020, and as mentioned earlier, he won the fight in just 17 seconds with a clean right hook to the face. Chimaev was 3-0 in his amateur fights. Then, Boris the Wolf Chimaev had 2 professional fights and then was part of the Brave Combat Federation, where he had 4 fights. Khamzat won all 4 fights via stunning finishes. As for where he gets his uncanny abilities, Khamzat Boris the Wolf comes from a family of wrestlers. His brother Artur is a prominent freestyle wrestler in their homeland. However, his parents were not keen to the idea of their son stepping into the octagon. When talking about the topic in an interview early in his UFC career, Khamzat said, "I had 2 or 3 fights and they realized that I really wanted this. Then when I got to the UFC, my father started watching fights. My brother has been supporting me for a long time. In the beginning, he didn't want me to do MMA. Mom still, after, asked me to end my career after each fight," she says. "That's it, you became a champion." His mother has seen him take a big spill when he was a child, and she certainly doesn't want to relive that dreadful accident. It's not difficult to notice that Chimaev sports a noticeable facial mark. He revealed the painful childhood story behind his scarred lip, saying that he fell down on concrete, busting his lip, nose, and teeth. What's more, the quickly ascended UFC star suffers to this day as a result of his brutal fall as a kid. As a matter of fact, Boris says that he still can't breathe through his right nostril. This adds on to the astonishment of his incredible rise in the UFC and makes his story even more impressive. When asked about the accident, Boris said, "My mom told me this, but I don't remember myself. I was 2 years old and we had a big staircase in our house and I fell down on the concrete. I had a ripped lip, a couple of my teeth were knocked out, and I also broke my nose. I still can't breathe from my right nostril." Perhaps this childhood horrific spill created the fearless subconscious of Boris the Wolf. What do you think? Comment down below.